When a police officer responds to an incident, the two biggest factors that go into play are what are the officer's perceptions of what they see, and what are the subject or the bad guy's actions that lead to the officer to use any force. The problem that we run into, and why there's so many instances where people are using excessive force, is because an officer's perception is hard to fix when they get there, because perceptions are developed before something arrives. So if a dog is coming after me and chasing me, I may perceive that dog wants to bite me, but that dog may just be friendly. So my perception is going to determine if I'm going to run, if I'm going to stop, etc. When it comes to policing, officers' perceptions are already ingrained, so when they get there. Now, the problem we have is if you follow the research, African Americans are perceived as more dangerous. So when an officer responds on a scene with an African American person, they are more likely to feel that they are a threat or a danger because of perceptions already there. The research literature is clear. The studies have been done how black people are perceived in society. How do you fix this perception? It's challenging because perceptions are so ingrained. What the military does to fix perceptions is it puts everybody together and you live with them, you eat with them, you work with them, and you understand that they're just like everybody else. And the same thing with black people, just like everybody else. The saying is, if you cut me, do I not bleed? It's true. So when we're dealing with perceptions, we have to fix the perception by integration. But the problem is that most officers in African American areas don't live there. They're not accustomed to the culture, to the things that are going on in the community, so all they have is their own perceptions. Now, this isn't for all officers. I mean, you do have officers who are raised in multicultural environments where they understand perceptions, but 75% of all officers are white. And as black people are a small percentage of the population, fixing something that is a bigger problem is in a perception in a demographic population that is so small is a challenge if the officers can't live there, because the court cases are already clear. And which is why you see a lot of acquittals in court, because the officer's perceptions can't be questioned, because he perceived danger. The guy reached, I was scared, I didn't know what was happening, he went in his pocket. Why? Because the perception's already in there. Now, if you look at the statistics, white people are more likely to kill an officer than black people. But why does the perception so pervasive that black people are a threat and they require more force? And this is where the studies have really intersected, because a lot of times there are legacy assumptions via media bias, through other things and how things are portrayed, that we get this idea that the threat is someone that is unlikely to be it. And that needs to be changed and fixed so that perception can now be correlated with the actual subject's actions only. And if the subject actions require more force, you use more force. Because the studies are also clear that if you believe that somebody is superior or bigger than you, you're going to use more force to subdue them. And you're also going to be less likely to render them aid or give them any assistance, because you're going to think, oh, they're big enough, they can handle it, which is ultimately a negative perception. We see this not just in policing, we see this in medicine, in other practices and fields where perceptions are so key to getting the right service. So Lear is here to fix that perception, but ultimately to establish policies that will mitigate perceptions that are not positive and only lead to further violence and excessive force. Thank you very much.